This podcast is brought to you by Southern Pro Landscaping and Design. Please go check these guys out. They are an amazing landscaping company, but they do so much more. They do fire pits outside, which is the middle of winter. So if you're wanting a fire pit and you're like, oh, it'd be so amazing now, a fire pit, go check out them. They do irrigation control, landscaping, drains, flagstone walkways, all kinds of different stuff. They're so vast in what they do. Go check them out. Give them a call, 903-445-7106. Check them out. Let's get this podcast started. Welcome to another Paris, Texas, a podcast. This is a podcast where you get to listen to people's stories, people that have either influenced or lived in the city of Paris, Texas. I love hearing their stories, and I can't wait for you to hear the next guest. All right, guys, we're here with a new podcast. I have someone, like as usual, I don't know super well, so I'm excited about this podcast. So Nelson Hernandez, a.k.a. Nelly, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here. I've been looking forward to this.
Me too, man. You know what? I got that call or the message from you, and I was kind of like, really? All right. Let's do it. Let's go down this little hole.
Let's do it.
Vámonos.
So if somebody was to, if you were trying to explain to someone where they would know you from right now, like where would they see you at if they found you today, like this week?
How
would they relate?
I get a lot of maybe like Howie from Backstreet Boys. So, no. No, but seriously, man, if you're around the automotive, you know.
They're going to know you?
Maybe, yeah. You might have heard me. I don't know. I don't want to.
But you mostly go by Nelly, right?
Right. Yeah, a lot of close friends call me Nelly. So.
Nelly the Detailer, right?
That's right. Nelly the Detailer, my little handle.
Yeah. All right, so Nelly, where were you born?
Rio Piedras, Puerto Rico.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
For real.
That's awesome.
So, Huepa para mi gente out there, you know. That's for all my little Puerto Ricans. If any are listening.
Awesome. So how long did you live in Puerto Rico?
Man, I was there till about 4.
4?
And then we moved to North Carolina.
Do you have like solid memories of it?
Oh yeah, we still go back. You know, all my family pretty much lives
still there.
Other than a few random, you know, have some cousins up in Pennsylvania and a little bit of family in Florida. But other than that, they're all
Puerto
there,
Rico.
You know?
Wow. So what got you? How did you get out of Puerto Rico?
So.
At 4.
My dad, he works for American Airlines.
Oh.
So, you know, he was working for the airline and then got transferred to North Carolina.
Awesome.
Also, they wanted to move, you know, kind of give us a better life, better shot, you know, at prosperity and things like that. The economy was kind of bad in the 80s in Puerto Rico. So, you know, that definitely had something to do with their decision in coming over here to mainland.
Awesome. So is he still working for American Airlines?
Technically he is. He is out on disability. He got in a wreck a couple years ago with a semi. So you know, he's going through that long drawn out process and eventually he'll retire with them, but he's been with them for 33 years.
Okay, so 4 you went to South Carolina?
North Carolina.
Right. North Carolina. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then so did you
we stayed there for a while. Ended up moving back to Puerto Rico whenever I was in 4th grade.
Okay.
One of my aunts, she unfortunately had breast cancer. So, you know, we moved back there to be with family for a while. Came back for 5th grade up to 6th and then moved to Texas.
Did you go back to North Carolina?
Correct.
For
5th and 6th grade.
5th and 6th grades, and then you moved to Texas.
Yep.
Awesome. So, where did you come here?
So I originally moved to North Richland Hills.
Okay.
Hurst, you know, Bedford, Euless area.
Yeah.
Went 7th grade there before I settled in Flower Mound, and that's where I went 8th grade, you know, all throughout high school. And
awesome. Flower Mound's dope.
Yeah. Flower Mound's cool. Flower Mound's real cool.
So what was your thing in school? Like, what did you enjoy doing? Like...
I played soccer and football.
Soccer and football? Puerto Rico, I'm so soccer.
Oh, man, it's either football or baseball. One or the other, you know. So, did that. But when I came here, played North American football, I
North
guess we'll say.
So, but you still love soccer?
Oh, I love both, soccer and football.
Football?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. No,
Awesome.
I love it.
So you played a lot of sports in school, high school, stuff like that?
I did, but, I still was kind of reserved. I was kind of like that nerd athlete.
You're a nerd athlete.
Yeah. Rare breed. Yeah.
So did you like watching it or did you just like playing it?
Oh, both.
Both.
Yeah.
You're all in.
Oh, definitely.
Now, did you always cheer for Puerto Rico when they played?
Well, so Puerto Rico is part of the United States, so a lot of times they do have their own independent baseball team.
Okay.
But a lot of other things, if
it's just
like the Olympic team, if you can make it, you're good enough, you're gonna get on. So
okay.
So that a lot of times they play with the U.S. team as well.
Awesome.
If they get on that way.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so you played soccer. Did you do anything else in high school? Any extracurricular? Were you in drama or?
No, just football and soccer. Ran a little bit of track, but got phased that out about sophomore year.
Okay. Yeah. So when when you were graduating, what was your thought process?
So I'm class of 02. So
02.
I'm getting up there a little bit. So originally, for the longest time, I wanted to be a police officer.
Okay.
So after high school, I went to school in Denton, and I was a criminal justice major for a while.
Really?
Yeah,
awesome.
For a year, Did that, want to be a cop. That kind of fell off, took a little back seat. Kind of like lived up life in the college experience a lot.
Yeah.
Partied some and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Fast forward to, 2008? So 6 years after. That's when I enlisted in the military, in the Army.
Awesome.
Army National Guard. So
awesome.
And was a military police there.
Now, were you in that time frame before you joined the military? Were you into cars and stuff as much as you are now?
Man, no.
No.
I mean, I've always had a like for cars. In high school, we were all about like the Fast and Furious. That I was in that crowd going along with like more of the imports and stuff like that, European cars. But I didn't really get into like as heavily as I am into it now in the automotive world until about 4 years ago.
Okay.
4 years ago.
Okay. So you joined the military.
Oh wait.
Oh, 08. And so what, did you pick a career path in it or how did,
So I'm 31 Bravo, 31 Bang Bang is military police.
So you made it to the police.
Right, yeah, in some sort of fashion I entered that world. It was fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Fortunately I didn't, I never got to deploy overseas or anything. I did some work a little while, one of the summers, down near the border. But other than that, never went, international. That's just kind of how it all played out. We were supposed to one time, and if anyone's been in the military, they're gonna tell you, stuff changes every second. Every second. So one day we have supposed to get orders to deploy. A couple months later, that's
who knows,
thrown away.
Yeah.
So
doing something else.
Right. So that's how it goes down.
So how long did you enlist for?
So I did a 6-year contract.
6 year? Okay.
So 2014 is whenever I ETS'd.
Okay.
And separated.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed it?
I did.
Awesome.
It's very political. A lot of butt kissing and depending on where you're at and this and that. I mean, with a lot of things, but I have no regrets. The relationships you build, with people is it's insane, because y'all go through some experiences that if you're not in the military, you don't really get them anywhere else. So I have no regrets from any of that.
Well, thank you for your service.
Oh no, thank y'all for the support.
Yeah.
Without you, it's not possible. And the families out there, to all the military families,
for sure.
Y'all are a freaking backbone. Y'all are amazing.
Yeah.
Without you, definitely it's not possible.
Right?
So
I agree with that.
To y'all.
Okay, so you 2014 you opted out.
Correct. So at this point, my wife and we got together in 2012.
Okay, while you were in.
Correct.
How'd you meet her?
So one of my best friends is originally from here. Rusty now, if anyone knows him, he started dating his now wife, and my wife and her are actually cousins.
Okay.
So one night, out, we all met as a group, and
just a group hang.
Here I am in Paris.
There you are. So your wife brought
from
you
Sawyer,
okay.
Oklahoma. Outside of Hugo. So she's in the area.
In the area,
correct.
But that's how you got to around here.
Right. Was through Rusty, because him and I actually worked in Denton while we were out there at Texas Roadhouse.
So y'all dated for a couple years while you were in.
Yeah, so that was crazy because she lived up in Oklahoma still. So it was a weekend thing.
And where were you based out of?
2 years. I was fortunate enough to be in Grand Prairie still.
Okay.
Here. Well, I was in Flower Mound at the time. But we would see each other on weekends.
Okay.
For 2 years, so it's
lots of driving.
And plus my commitment to the military, so it's 3 available weekends out of the month. So we may get to see each other, 4 to 5 days out the month.
Oh man,
for 2 years. So.
Brutal.
Yeah, it was worth it though.
Yeah, I bet.
Yes. No,
I guess.
No, it is. It is.
So you got out. What was the plan?
Man, so I still had a bunch of people kind of try to steer me the law enforcement around. I did think about it a lot. But I felt like I could I wanted to do some difference on maybe the culture surrounding policing. So that's what I wanted to start getting into, either changing ways we can come about changing the culture, the mentality towards, the actual training, relationship with, community relations, stuff like that. I don't know. There is an issue, in the country, but I think it's very important for everyone to come together on it, not just, one side this,
for sure.
one side that, so there are definitely things that I think all sides can agree upon, to have a more positive impact on the community.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. So you didn't go the police route?
No, sir.
And so how did you get? So what
what brought me to the auto?
Yeah, what brought you into the auto?
So after the military, started working for a warehouse out, where I lived in DFW. Fast forward a couple years, what happened is I had a knee injury.
Okay.
I had knee surgery. So this is the second time on that same knee. I got it scoped.
Okay.
And it was like partial tear, and so they went and repaired it. But anyway, so while I was on disability, I started through Instagram, social media, started kind of getting into cars and going down a rabbit hole. Here I am, like looking at paint correction and polishing, paint cars, and I'm like, well, what's all this? And cleaning cars really well. And so while I'm out, I started just doing it on my wife and I's car. Yeah. And that turns into, some friends deal.
A little side hustle.
Right. Well, also at this time, my wife's dad, he has a dealership up in Hugo. He kind of, he offered us and her, if she wanted to come move back and eventually take it over, and run it. And so, my wife and I sat down, we talked about it a lot, and we came up, to a conclusion that it would be best to give it a shot, come out here and see what it's all about, to put ourselves in a better position, to prosperity, whatever, do better for ourselves.
Set yourselves up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, we came out here and chased it. And I came and took some classes up at the Technology Center up there in Hugo. And that was my first time, like, getting some actual hands-on shop training and seeing what that was all about. And so I did some buffer time up there and kind of familiarized myself with some tools. And, I really obsessed myself over the detailing aspect of it and the paint correction aspect of it. It's not just like wiping down a car.
No, yeah.
I read SDS sheets for the chemicals that are, in all products, because I want people coming back, so if I'm going to be the one hands-on, over time, I want their trim pieces, their interior to still, appear like new and not be damaged, without some of these products ends up drying it out over time, it attracts more dirt and grind to serve, this and that. So it's really more than just getting in the car and wiping it down. Like, I have a really good understanding of
the science,
the product. You're right. And then for stains, certain stains require, it's pH levels and stuff. So depending on the stain, you want to get some more acidic, or you want to get some more neutral, or just something that will fight it safely. And I can sit here and talk to you and bore you to death about all this, but
I will say though, I can tell just from your post and just from you talking to me about various things that, like, you're passionate about it.
Oh,
like, it's not just it's not just a job; it's something you thoroughly enjoy doing.
I do. And some of it may come from the military. They're so anal retentive about get this clean, da 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 da, and so I kind of approach every vehicle that way, and as if they were my own vehicle, So.
And I've watched
attention to detail is so key.
I've watched some of your before and after photos, and you've even done a couple videos of you cleaning it, and it's quite interesting. Like,
oh, it's a process, man.
I feel like I was watching one the other day, and I was like, I would mess that thing up so fast. There'd be spots everywhere, because I mean, it almost looks like in some of the shots like you're sandpapering parts of the car.
And no, you're right. That's true. So that's paint correction. And if there's some scratches so a scratch will go through clear, through a certain level, and it's salvageable.
But it's visible.
Point. Right. But if it's all the way through the paint, obviously you need to get it repainted or touched up at least, or whatever you'd like. But no, if it's not all the way through, yeah. So that's called wet sanding, and there's different stages of wet sanding. So to minimize the scratch, the defect. And so after you level it out a few stages, so I'll start with like 1,000 grit sandpaper and then step it up to 2,000 or 3,000 to 5,000 to smooth it all out. And then I'll run the buffer. I'll cut the area with some compound, and then I'll polish it all out to bring out the clarity, bring out the depth. In the paint, and also to remove hopefully the defect, the scratch.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy how much.
A lot goes into
how far you can take it.
Oh, like, man, it's the sky's the limit.
Was it you that you posted one the other day, and I can't remember what it was, but it looked like a truck bed, and there were like these long scratches down the side of it.
Yeah. Okay. So that was up at Scott's.
Okay.
Where I'm at now. This customer had, I guess he improperly, secured a tarp down the side of his bed.
Okay.
To include the tailgate and both sides of the truck bed. Either with straps or bungee cords. I don't really get told which one, but you're right, man. It left all these marks going down the side of the
Very
bed.
visible.
Oh, super visible. I mean, just standing away 20, 30 yards, you're going to see it. Oh, for sure. So, just that process that we just talked over, I wet sand,
That's a lot, though.
Oh, yeah, and the truck bed, I mean, it's a large surface area, So did the tailgate and then both sides, and then I think it came out pretty good.
I mean, the pictures looked good,
considering because he didn't want to repaint it. So, which I understand. You have different levels of budget, or if it's a work truck, it's kind of going to get scratched a little bit more, then there's no need to go, and spend thousands of dollars to repaint it whenever, you can opt for a cheaper repair that fits your, that budget, fits your, your need.
So, how did you get sorry, I kind of jumped ahead there a little bit, but that's okay. How did you get from Hugo running the car lot to Paris detailing?
So after I went to the technology center, I did a semester up there. My father-in-law, I started doing some work, on his lot up there, Billy Now Auto Sales up there, and did some cars for him. Then got onto a shop here in town.
Okay.
Deep South Glass.
Okay.
Over there by the Chicken Express, Sefco.
Yeah. I'm familiar with that.
So was there for almost a year. Kind of build up my skills, honed in on my really I focus on paint work, so my polishing and buffing and wet sanding skills is what I try to separate, myself from others. And then I got on after that with a gentleman, Heath Babb, and man, he pretty much took me under his wing, so he mentored me, he taught me even more about wet sanding and buffing.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of honed in my eye on what to look for, and he ended up purchasing a detailing company, Top Notch Detailing Plus.
Yep.
That was 2017. I think like May or June of 2017. So, we took that on. As far as what we also had like dealership contracts here in town.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a lot of their scratch repair, touch up, minor paint work, stuff like that on lot, for like, the Chevy house, Ford, Honda, Nissan, all that. So we had a good gig going. And then, he purchased a detailing company, and that's kind of what, I viewed it as kind of like my little baby. I did a lot of the work, did the social media on
Mm-hmm.
it. And I think that's where I kind of grew my clientele, got my name out, if you will.
Yeah.
It really took off from there because a lot of people, they're your details here that you pay, a certain amount, and you get kind of what $60 worth,
Yeah.
Let's just say that. And then, you kind of see what you miss out on,
Yeah.
That they don't really go as in depth. But really, if you don't have that in town, or if there's not someone here offering something like that, then, how in the heck would you even know about what I bring to the table?
Right.
So it kind of takes either looking at, what I have to offer, or just getting it done once for me to be like, oh, the light bulb went off. I'm like, duh,
Boom.
This is what it's supposed to be
look,
like.
yeah.
Correct.
So you recently transitioned to Scott's Collision?
Mm-hmm. I've been there for about almost two months now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Have you been learning a lot there?
Yeah, it's a different pace, different type of work, but it allows me to continue that wet sand and buff and polishing skill set technique. I think that myself and maybe one or two other people in town may have, but really I just think a couple of people in town can go in depth like I do.
True depth, yeah. It's kind of like you went to multiple different master in their crafts, and then you learned you learned a little bit from this person, you learned a little bit from this person, you learned a little bit from this person.
Took everything.
And
jumbled it all up and say what works for Nelly, the detailer. What works for me. So. And I came up with what I got, and hopefully it's good.
And you're always learning new stuff.
Oh man, I'm like a sponge. I'm constantly just on forums, asking questions, just on YouTube, just trying to absorb any little bit of information that I can.
Well, I know at Maximum Elevation we send a lot of our stuff your way.
Man, those guys are awesome.
I mean, you make it look like what because we rough those things up.
Yeah, y'all ain't scared to use it. They're not pavement princesses, which is what I also love about that group of guys and what they do over there. It's not all show.
Yeah,
they go in it.
But we love that we have the capability of going all out down the trail and then sending it to you and it coming back like it's brand new.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Obviously, if we really ding it, then we gotta get David to do something more to it. But but we you bring it back,
man,
and it's.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But man, like I said, those guys, they've afforded me a couple opportunities. Just showcasing my talent because it's one thing me doing the work, but it's also, I'm not gonna lie, having those type of vehicles, it definitely grabs some attention.
Yeah.
So my first real big opportunity to work with them was last year, 2018, for SEMA.
Mm-hmm.
So I prepared two of their vehicles.
Yeah.
That was when Colin had his white Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
That was wrapped.
With the motorcycle on the back of it?
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, the one of a kind. Where else are you going to see something like that?
Nowhere.
Paris, Texas.
Texas.
You know what I mean? So, and then Kevin, man. Kevin's, Black Vader Jeep.
Yep.
I mean, come on, man. What y'all doing with that? Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
No,
we got more coming.
Right. Well, hey, you know where to reach me. But no, SEMA, like I said, is the biggest car. If you know anything about, automotive industry, SEMA is one of the biggest shows, if not the biggest show of the year. So the opportunity to have those two Jeeps for them to do and get ready and prep, man, it really meant a lot. But it also kind of, hey, you might be a little bit pretty good at what you do. You know what I mean? And then this year, I got blessed with the opportunity to do 3 vehicles, for this past show. Todd Beeson's freaking Gladiator, which is bad.
Gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. So thank you, Todd. Colin's new Gladiator.
Yeah.
That thing is a beast with LS3. So come on. Again, Paris, Texas. Where else you going to see that? That's crazy. That's crazy. And then, the Canyon, the blue and orange. It's not loud or anything, but.
Yeah, but it looks good.
Oh, it looks awesome.
Awesome. So do you have any goals for 2020? Kind of at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. So I'm trying to expand on my skill set.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually leaving town tomorrow. I'm going to San Antonio.
Awesome.
Yes. So I'm gonna do some training out there for some clear bra film.
Awesome.
Be able to install on vehicles and bring it back here to town.
Is that something that's not here?
It's no, not a certified installer.
Mm-hmm.
Not this quality of it's paint protection film, clear bra film,
Mm-hmm.
PPF film. Not to this level of quality of film either. So it's a first for this town. So we're trying to bring another first to this town.
That's
have
awesome.
another service to offer. So we'll be able to get with dealerships, or just people with their own personal vehicles, and I'll be able to install it on there.
That's awesome.
Protect against rock chips and stuff like that, because it's pretty expensive repaint, panels, and especially being out here, there's a lot of highway driving, high speeds, it's easy.
A lot of
And
off-road.
truck,
Mm-hmm.
yep. And then dualies, the hips on the dualies that get chipped up real bad. So we'll be able to apply it on high impact areas of the vehicle and minimize or reduce or totally eliminate.
I bet
those
you're
types of
excited
damage,
about
dude.
that.
It's a week long, and I'm excited.
That's awesome.
My wife has the opportunity to come along with me. So
Oh, yay.
yeah. We
So-
look forward to it.
Speaking of your wife, how did you propose to your wife?
Oh, okay. So, I saved up for a while, obviously, wanted to get her a real nice ring. Her thing is she loves weeping willow trees.
Oh.
Her favorite tree. So I had this big old grandiose idea to, I proposed at the Botanical Gardens in Fort Worth.
Awesome.
And so at that time, I was working at a restaurant, and I had a coworker of mine. She does photography.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had her kind of lurk in the shadows.
Paparazzi.
Yeah. And I kind of had to we went out to the Botanical Gardens, and we went through Japanese gardens and koi fish, and I had to walk around we weren't really doing anything. And then we come down it's called the Rose Garden. So
Okay.
we come down to the Rose Garden, and here's, my friend is in the corners just taking pictures of us coming down. Well, we end up beneath a willow tree, a weeping willow tree. And we're looking out onto this pond, and I kind of looking at her, and she's like, "Man, this is real pretty. It's beautiful." La la la. And so that's when I look at her, and I get down on her knee, and I'm there with my spiel, just talking away, and she of course doesn't remember any of it, because all she can do is, all she is doing is looking at the ring, and not listening with anything I have to say, even though I spent nights and hours writing this real sweet little whatever it was, little poem or all these words. Anyways, so that's how it happened. That's how I proposed at the Botanical Gardens on a knee beneath a willow tree. And then we had a big old went to Austin afterwards, celebrated down there. But I also had a surprise engagement dinner. I had her parents came down, her sisters, close friends. So
That's
real cool.
awesome.
Real cool. And then we ended up getting married in Puerto Rico, actually.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
In 2015. So.
I bet she dig that.
Oh, dude, it was awesome. Pictures are beautiful. We had an amazing time.
That's great.
If y'all get a chance to go to Puerto Rico, I'm telling you, go.
It's worth it.
Oh man,
is it pretty?
It's beautiful, beautiful. Unlike anything you'll see here in mainland, just because there's a little bit more history. Spanish settlers, came. So there's just this architecture that you just. Southern Florida, maybe a little bit. You'll see some of it, but the colors, the people, the culture, the food, the island, it's beautiful.
It's awesome.
if you get a chance, go. Don't skip over. It's
over.
really easy. You don't need a passport. They use U.S. dollars, so it's very tourist friendly. Yeah. So
awesome.
go on and get.
So another thing I have noticed about you is your like for shoes.
Oh man,
it's a thing. It's like
shoes.
Your shoes are like my hats.
There you go.
Right?
It's like it's a part of us. It's an identity.
It's a thing.
That's right.
So when did you fall in love with shoes?
And
I know this sounds weird. It's hard to describe to people on the radio or on podcasts, but like they're not. I mean, they're cool shoes. I don't know how to describe it.
Like, so my thing is they're J's, the Jordans.
Okay.
So, I've always had like an affinity for them. Growing up, it's a typical story. Grow up, family couldn't afford them. Now I'm a grown man. Now I want shoes. You know what I mean? So that's just it. So my wife, birthday, Christmas, any opportunity I get here and there, I like loud. I like bright.
Yeah.
I like it all. So.
Multicolored.
Yes.
And then you match with them.
I know. I try to match shoes, outfit. It gets kind of ridiculous sometimes, but hey.
But now I talked to you the other day. Now your wife is supports this, right?
She's 100% guilty of supporting it. Some of my favorite shoes come from her, so yeah, she definitely has her hand in it.
You and I were talking the other day, and you were like, I almost need a bigger closet
I know.
for my shoes.
It's ridiculous, I never did I think, one day you will outgrow your closet because your shoes are just taking over everything.
Now you keep them in the original box, right?
Correct. And that's another problem. So not only the shoes, but now I got to deal with the space of the box, and it's getting out of hand.
But that keeps them protected, so you're not stacking them on top of each other.
Right.
And you probably treat your shoes like you treat your cars.
Yeah, pretty dang good. Here coming up, I'm gonna have to break it up, but I'm gonna have to steam. I like steaming them and cleaning them, and yeah. I know it sounds ridiculous. I got a little steamer, but hey, it gets them real clean. So people are always saying, "Man, your shoes they still look new." I'm a wear the same shoe until the sole's falling off. Mm-hmm. But I'm rough on shoes. I'm really rough on shoes, so it don't take long for me to wear out a pair of shoes. Mm-hmm. But I still like nice shoes. Right.
I just wear the same shoe like every day until it's falling apart.
That's right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, or it's got huge gashes. I remember I used to be a huge Vans fan, and I was longboarding a lot back in the day, and I literally, because when you pump with your shoe, it makes this little crease kind of between your toes and like the rest of your foot.
Right.
I wore out a whole strip of my van. Like, I mean, you could see my sock.
Right, you just through the shoe.
Yeah, like my toes would still be covered, but then
Fred Flintstone stuff.
Yeah, man. I wore those suckers out. And my wife was like, "You got to get some new shoes." Like, nah, they're just now getting broke in.
Yeah. No, they're just good. They're just good now, huh? That's funny.
I like it.
No, that's awesome. I like that.
I think shoes can kind of like tell a person's personality a little bit.
Yeah. Where how their attitude is.
Yeah.
I know this sounds crazy, but their sense of humor, even
Yeah.
if they're not shy about just wearing some crazy, far out there type of patterns, colors, whatever, then
all in.
They're probably pretty funny. Probably pretty funny person, or at least lighthearted.
At least lighthearted.
Like I know some of your hats are, like you say, you're known for your wooden bow tie.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Who has something like that?
Nobody here that I know of. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. Only in Paris, Texas.
Oh, there you go. Only in Paris, Texas.
Okay, that brought up a question for me. So when you first came into Paris, Texas for the first time, what was your thought? You be honest.
Man, so one of the first times it's funny you bring that up. Roadhouse, the movie Roadhouse.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because one of the first times I came out here was to visit my buddy, who we taught Rusty.
Yeah.
And it was back when Crosswire was still open.
Yeah.
Okay, so honky tonk, right? Everybody go there. And one thing, whatever, there's one of the guys we were there with, someone was trying to, talk to his girlfriend while he was dancing with her on the floor.
Right.
Next thing you know, a fight breaks out. just chairs flying everywhere, glasses are thrown. You know, people
Like
turn around, bowing up to me, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Like, what's going on here?
Don't step on my
You know,
shoes.
people are just on the ground. Buddy's getting fish hooked. Like, it's crazy. It's nuts. And I'm just sitting here, like, looking around. It's like slow motion to me.
Like, this is a scene from a movie.
I can't wait to come back next weekend.
Who needs TV?
I know, right?
Oh, that's great.
No,
That's
man,
funny.
it's fun. It's fun out here. You know, it really is. It's a little bit of adjustment coming from the city, but I feel like you're afforded to kind of almost be a little bit more yourself as far as, you know, it's wide open out here. So I love going on drives. You know, I love that doesn't take me an hour to travel, you know, 4 miles, you know, with traffic. You know, there's so many things out, and there's so many beautiful sights to see out here.
Yeah.
You know, so
My wife and I find it funny because she comes from Colorado, and
another beautiful place.
Golly. And Colorado's, it's so vast. Like, if you, like, specifically Colorado Springs, like, if you want to go across town, like, it's going to be an hour.
Right. Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, because large distances.
Yeah, and it's spread out, like,
Right.
you know. So she finds it super funny when people are like, "Oh, I gotta go all the way across town in Paris, Texas."
Oh, in Paris,
which takes all of 10 minutes, like all the way across town.
The way. All 3 lights. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's literally only one light on the loop, right?
Yeah, and I feel like it's the very most inopportune spot too. But yeah, there's one, the one that we should not speak of.
I feel like there should be maybe a couple more. There's a few spots that are a little like dicey.
There is. I don't know. Maybe it's the crossovers or something.
Maybe
it's kind of like playing Frogger at times. It feels like, you know.
It does feel like that.
Oof. Good luck.
Well, and then this isn't on the loop per se, but like my wife and I call it the stretch of death right in front of Walmart.
Oh my god!
Like right by Deep South Glass.
So I live out in Reno, so yes. If I don't take Pine Mill, I'm
dreading it.
Times,
man, it's
that
rough.
median.
People trying to jump across, go from like CVS to Walgreens or something, and they're like shooting across. And
no, I'll go, instead of pulling against traffic, I'll just go through like Panda Express, take a right, and hit that light. So I get right of way.
My wife does that all the time.
I mean,
away.
I ain't messing with it.
Nope. Nope. That's funny. So usually my last question lately, I love this question for some reason because I like hearing the variety of answers.
Okay.
What is your favorite place to go in Paris, Texas? It can be anything.
In Paris? I don't know. Man, there's a couple. How about Lamar County? No, I'll say Paris. I'll give you Paris. I feel like driving. Okay, you know that little underpass where the Trail of Paris runs on the other side of town, like past Morningside and stuff. It had all those locks and stuff on the fence or whatever. I always thought that was pretty neat to look at. But I'm kind of like a little nerd like that because I like taking photos and stuff too. So whenever I walked over there, that was kind of cool to see. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's over there by the dance studio or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so they used to always have like a bunch of locks, I guess, on that chain.
And it's a huge thing. No one knows who took those locks down.
Yeah, so
the city doesn't. Someone just did it.
I don't know why it happened, but that was always really cool to see.
It makes you feel like you're like a part of something big with all those locks on there. It was something really.
It's like
cool.
Everyone told a story.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I thought that was really cool. Just seeing the little pockets of like artistry is really neat.
Hidden gems.
I was gonna say just hitting up a road, you know, and taking in sunsets and pastures. That is one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah,
you know, so I'll say that.
Okay.
Alongside with that.
Okay. Well, man, thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Man, it was really cool. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This was really awesome. And like I said, you know, I was surprised when you approached me, but I'm really glad Really glad we came here and sat down and got the
Yeah.
opportunity to talk.
I love doing this.
It is awesome. So,
And your story is so unique to everyone else's. I have not had a Puerto Rican on my podcast yet.
well, there you go. This is first time for everything.
There you go.
Once you go Rican, you don't stop freaking. No, I was kidding.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. On that note,
There you go.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We had a blast. As always, we try to put out a new podcast every Monday, so tune in next Monday for another podcast. If you want more information about stuff coming up, go to my group on Facebook, Paris, Texas, a podcast. You can search that in the top search bar on Facebook, and you will find us. Also, I want to give one more big shout out to Southern Pro Landscaping and Design. These guys do all kinds of different stuff. They're really cool. Even in the winter, they have fire pits, all kinds of different things that they can do for you. Go check them out. Check them out on Facebook. Call them if you have any needs. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring this. We'll see you guys next week.